Welcome to the SMPS Marketing Communication Awards webinar on how to prepare and submit a winning entry. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, please note that at any time during this presentation, you may type your question in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. There will be a brief Q&A session at the end of the presentation where we will answer these questions. Please note this presentation slide deck will be posted on the MCA Entry portal located at smps.org/MCA Entry. Let's go ahead and get started. Today, we will be covering the following items: new features for the 2025 program, benefits of entering, dates to remember, eligibility and entry fees, how to select the right category for your entry, preparing your entry, the judging criteria and evaluation process, how best to exhibit your samples, and last but not least, the question session. New for 2025, the program is offering a special small firm rate for firms that are certified by the SBA. For more information on the SBA certification, please visit their website. Please note that agencies or consultants submitting work on behalf of their clients must calculate the entry fee based on their client's firm size, not the size of the agency or consultant firm. For more information, please refer to the fees page on the entry portal. For those of you new to the program, the MCA offers multiple benefits to its entrants. Entering can generate more media coverage and gain exposure for your firm and raise its profile by reaching a wider audience. You may ask, why choose MCA? Recognized by HubSpot as one of the top marketing award programs internationally worth entering, the MCA competition provides an opportunity for firms to showcase their best marketing practices and to educate the AEC industry about the critical role marketing serves its firms. We are excited to be celebrating MCA's 48th year of honoring marketing excellence. Another important long-term benefit is validation. The MCA competition gives your team an opportunity to validate the value of its work. The process of submitting an entry allows marketers the added benefit of documenting and benchmarking the work they do for their firms by providing criteria that marketing teams can apply to their firm's marketing projects. Many entrants find the entry form questionnaire is a great resource for their marketing planning outside of the MCA program. Here are important dates. Please note that this information is also located on the homepage of the entry portal. The entry period is now open and is available to submit entries until March 21st. The early discount deadline is February 18th. The first round of judging will tentatively take place April 7th through the 25th, and then it will follow a second round of judging for the larger categories, and finalists will be announced by June 1st, and then awards will be announced live during Amplify AEC, which will take place in Columbus, Ohio this year. To enter, the competition is open to both members and non-members based in the U.S. as well as international firms. Materials must have been completed between January 2023 and January 2025. No pre-qualification is required to enter. This program awards the following prizes. The MCA finalists are the top scoring entries in all categories. The finalists will be recognized during the MCA award ceremony, which is in conjunction with Amplify AEC. Merit certificates are given to the second and third place entries in those categories. Merit certificates are based on the number of entries in the category and the average score within the category. Merit certificates are not guaranteed in every category depending on the number of entries. Award of Excellence is given to the overall highest scoring entry in the category. Best to Show Award. These category winners, the top scoring entries in each category, will be considered for Best to Show. A panel of marketing professionals outside the AEC industry will select the Best of Show. The winner will be announced during the live MCA award ceremony as well. And last but definitely not least is the annual People's Choice Award. All finalists are eligible for the People's Choice Award. Winning entries for the categories will be featured in the MCA gallery, all the finalists. The winner will then be announced during the MCA ceremony in August. The People's Choice Award is voted on using the MCA gallery, which will go live during the conference timeframe. The entry fees for this year are also located in the MCA portal. You will see that there's an early discount for entries that are submitted by February 18th. There also is the new small firm entry rate, which is also listed on the website. And then there's also a discount available for multiple entries. And I'm getting ready to cover the deadline, the multiple discounts as well. But the final rate, you want to make sure that if you are submitting an entry after February 18th until March 21st, that you will pay the full rate for your entries and additional entries, as well as if you're submitting under the small firm rate. Please remember also that early discount entrants will be allowed to modify their entry until March 21st at midnight. Any entry submitted after the 18th will pay the final entry rate. The deadline for all entries and payments is March 21st. Please also note that there are no refunds after the early discount deadline. There are many ways to save regarding submitting your entry. New this year, we have the small firm rate. These are firms that are certified by the SBA and qualify for the discount. Remember that you can access this information on the entry portal to see if your firm qualifies. The early discount rate is for entries that are paid for and entered by February 18th. And you can always go back and modify your entry until the final deadline. The first timers discount is for firms that have never entered the MCA program. We offer a 10% discount on entry fees. If you're not sure if your firm has entered before or not, please contact awards@smps.org. Multiple entry discounts are for those that are entering more than one entry. Discounts also are offered for minority business enterprise firms. You will receive a 10% discount. Entrants must specify this certification on the entry form to receive the discount. Here's a list of the categories that are available to enter. I won't cover all of them, but frequently one of the top questions I get are, what are the categories that have the least amount of entries? Trending in the last few years, crisis management and communication tends to be one of our smaller categories, advertising, book monograph, brochure, and also the pro bono category. And our larger categories tend to be the holiday category, corporate identity, video, website, and special event. Now we're going to take a closer look at the MCA entry form, which is available online in the entry portal. To get started, if you've not participated in an SMPS Awards program in the past, you will simply need to create an account in the portal, which is a free profile. Requires you to enter your email address and create a password. If you already have an account and you've already submitted in the past, you will simply click the Enter Now button, which is at the top of the navigation of the entry portal. Please note that all the information that we're covering here today, you will see is located in that navigation in the top of the entry portal. The login area is on the left-hand side, and you will simply put in your email address and password. If by chance you've forgotten your password or your browser does not remember it, you can simply click the lost password and you will be emailed an address to reset your password. If you're new to the program, this screen will come up where you will simply create your new account and fill out that information on the right-hand side and hit submit, and then you will be able to access the entry form. Please note that the password is not the same as the password for the member login on smps.org. The awards portal is a separate, unique password associated with your email address only. A new feature that has been available now starting, I want to say back in 2022 3 is the ability to add collaborators that will be working with you on submitting your project. If by chance you have a team that will be needing to access the entry, you can have each one create their own account by by clicking the Manage Collaborators button at the top right side of the entry form. Once you click on this, you will then have the option to add a collaborator. You can also search in case they already have an account set up. If you put in their name there, then their information would come up and you can simply add them. This you can then assign if you'd like to make them the primary. The primary contact would be the person who would be submitting the payment and the final submission. You can also remove access if you need to in the future or during the process of putting the entry together. The step 1 of the entry form includes additional information section, which is underneath the contact information. And this is the area where you're going to want to make sure you put any names of people that might be assisting you with the information that you'll be providing in the entry. This information will not be published. Only firms' names are listed with the entry information, not individual names. Under that section, you will also see that first-time entrant. Anything indicated with a red asterisk is a required field, so you will need to make sure that if you're not a first-time entrant to select no. You will also be asked if you're a current member of SMPS and your chapter. A little further down is the federal and state business classification section. And then new this year is the small firm option where you can indicate if you are entering as a small firm. Step 2 of the entry process is the information area where you will put for your entry that you're submitting. This is where you will put the title, which you want to make sure you include your firm name in that entry title. You also will be asked to put the completion date for the project that you're submitting. And also on this page is where you will select the category that you are entering. Each category has subcategories based on the type of format that your entry that you are submitting. Underneath the category section, that is where you will be uploading your information needed for depending on the type of entry you're submitting. So in this case, you'll see holiday piece digital, then you will automatically be required to put a URL to link to the digital entry. If you have additional URLs, then you have the option of adding those below. They are not required, but you do need to answer the question whether or not you have additional URLs to support the entry. You also have the option to upload a PDF to support your entry as well, in case you need more information for communicating your details for the entry that you're submitting. A little further down on section 2 of the form is where, as I had mentioned, the PDF upload, and then you can also upload 3 images. If you need more images or would like to submit more images, you have the option to submit an additional 3 images. And also you can combine your results or visuals on a PDF and upload that as a sample if that helps better tell your story for your entry as well. Regarding the entry form questionnaire, which is further down on the section 2, the entry information form, this is where you will want to make sure you read thoroughly the full submittal requirements, which are located on the MCA entry portal under criteria. You want to make sure that you answer all 6 questions on the entry form. They are required fields, and you will not be able to submit your entry unless the questions are completed or the responses are included. And make sure you include all the information requested. For example, if it's asking for objectives or plans or results, because the jury will be looking for those items depending on the category that you have entered. And new for 2025, I hope this will make some of you happy and it will help make the entry process a little easier, is we have increased the word count for some of the responses. So you will note that when you go to include your information based on the different sections of the 6 questions, you will see you will have the option for a higher word count to increase the options for you to give more information regarding your entry. And this is what that section looks like a little further down. You will see the word count for here that you start off with your creative brief. And this section is very important because this is where you want to explain why you feel your entry should win the award. And it's a great way to communicate to the judge why you feel your entry deserves an award, and you can be as creative as you wish there. And then under that, we'll start the individual criteria that you will be judged on. And each section will have information that you would want to consider to include and what the judges would be looking for in your responses. Here's a quick snapshot of the word count for those different sections. You will see you have marketing objectives, target audience, research and planning, messaging, and last but not least is the results section. You will be judged on your responses. All the information you need to answer these questions is on the submittal requirements page, so please be sure to review that information before entering. This is a screenshot of an example of how best to communicate using bullets in those responses. Now then, please note that this is based on the word count from the previous year's program. So you will see that the word count is smaller, but again, you definitely want to make sure you stick with the bullet format when communicating that information to the judges regarding your entry. They're very effective in communicating this with the judges while they're reviewing your entry. At the very end of step 2 for the entry information page, there's a last field which is considered notes. This is an optional field that you can provide additional instructions or information for jurors to review your entry. For example, if you're entering a website and it requires a password, please provide that here and reference it in your creative brief, so the judges know that they need to go down to the notes section to make sure that they are able to access your entry. This happens quite frequently, actually, where people are submitting perhaps a video that is password protected or a site that is password protected, and the judges go to view the entry and they realize that they can't access it, and they have to reach out to HQ to find out what the issue is. So you just want to make sure that all of that is communicated on your entry form. This is how the points are allocated for each of those areas. Your creative brief is worth 15 points. The marketing objective is 20 points. Research and planning is 10. Content messaging is 15. Content deliverable is 20. And results is 20. So you will see right off the bat that marketing and objectives, the deliverable and results are all worth 20 points, the highest scoring areas. You will also note that content deliverable is the one section that you will not see on the entry form, because that's actually what the judges are looking for regarding the quality of your entry, the look, the graphics, the overall look and feel of your entry, and that is where those points are allocated. The next and final step of your award submission is the award information page. This is the place where you will indicate your firm name, the name if it's different for public relation communication pieces. You will indicate your firm city and state, and also granting SMPS permission to promote your entry and your firm information if you are a finalist in this year's competition. You also will have the ability to post company information. And then a little further down, you also will be asked to upload an entry display, and you want to make sure that you select a photo that best represents your entry. I will give you an example of that in just a moment, but this is what will be displayed in the MCA gallery, as well as during the awards program and additional communications throughout the year where we're promoting our finalists and winners of the program. You want to also, when it asked regarding selecting a photo that represents your team, this will also be included in the gallery and promotes your team throughout the program if your entry is selected as a finalist. At the bottom of this section, you will note that if you're entering another entry and want to save steps, you can simply add this entry to the cart, and then you will be able to copy the entry. You will just then need to update that for the new entry. So if you're ready to submit and you've finalized your information, you can simply click Add to the Cart. Once your entry is in the shopping cart, you will see it listed, and there's a list of action items to the very right-hand side. You can either go to the checkout and pay for your submission, or you can copy, as I stated, all the information for another entry, and then you would only have to update the category and the responses to those 6 questions. You want to make sure that if you do use this feature to copy the entry, that you will still need to upload the additional information for the new entry. This would just save you a step as far as the award information page, as well as the first page, that contact information page. You would just be updating that Section 2 area. Now we're going to jump over and show some examples of exhibits and samples on how to display and select images that will best convey your entry depending on the type of entry it is. As I've stated a few times, and most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with, the MCA Gallery is the home for all of our winning entries. So right now you can access the 2024 winners, and you will note that it will have their placement listed at the top of their entry. This is where you can check out perhaps the categories, see the entry types that have already been submitted, but you will get a great look and feel as far as what judges are looking for, and also just how the entries are presented in the gallery in best practices. A continuation of that is those images that you are submitting is you want to select an image that best represents your entry, because it is going to be showcased throughout the program, not only on stage, but of course on the website, and then as mentioned through different marketing initiatives throughout the year, as well as the Marketer Journal and our newsletters promoting the winners. The special event entry exhibit for AFG last year entered the special event print. They won a merit certificate showing the pieces for their Be Leave event. And this is a really great example on how there was obviously multiple components to their entry, and they wanted to make sure they could convey the branding and the continuity of their marketing efforts and all kinds of different pieces. And this really does a great job showing the scale and scope of the work that was submitted to the jurors. This is a good example of how a photo of a mixed media entry, as with McKim and Creed, have done here for their annual report. And they earned an award of excellence for this last year. And this is, again, they had a print annual report, but they also had a digital component or a mobile app component to it. And this image did a great job just summing that up, showing how the annual report was used in both formats. I have used this example in the past, but again, it's a really great example of a 3D print piece as exhibit, showing proportions using people holding the piece. And I feel, and I've heard from the judges, that it's very helpful for them to get an idea of exactly the effect and the overall quality of the entry that was submitted and how it was received by the intended target audience. This past year, MJ Engineering and Land Surveying submitted photos here clearly displaying the before and after of their brand for their corporate identity rebranding entry, which they won a merit certificate for. The before and afters are extremely impactful for the jurors because they can see right away the improvements and the changes that are being described in the submission. Next, we have a great example of how to show an entry such as trade show marketing, where you have an event and you want to do your best to put the judges in the actual trade show booth if possible, or if it's a special event, you want to put them at the event. So as many photos that you can include showcasing the different components that you had regarding the trade show booth. This is a great example where Kiewit won their Award of Excellence last year for this trade show entry. And here is a really great example of how big entry do we accept. Here we have billboard advertising from VHC, who won a merit certificate last year. Again, this was the advertising category, clear photos describing the billboard advertisements, as well as because they were different, they showcased and were able to show all the different billboards. And it was a great visual for the judges to look at when reviewing their entry. Digital entries, same concept. Here is an example on how to photograph those digital entries, such as the video category, as with Brown and Caldwell here for their video entry, which they won an award of excellence last year. And here they are showing the videos and how they were portrayed on the different devices. Again, it just really shows the scale and scope to the jurors, and so that they know how it was displayed for the intended target audience. Okay, we're about to wrap things up. I'm just going to quickly go through the deadlines. Please mark your calendar for February 18th. That is where you're going to get the deepest discount and get those entries in by the midnight on February 18th for that early discount. And then the final deadline this year is March 21st, again, midnight. That's when we will need all entries submitted, finalized, and paid by that date. You will not have the option to edit after March 21st. And here are some last minute reminders. All the submissions, again, may be modified post-submission until the final deadline is March 21st. You can now, of course, remember to add additional team members as collaborators to your entry submission. Regarding discounts, we have the new small firm discount rate. Don't forget, we have the MBE certified businesses. They receive 10% off their entries. And for firms that have never entered, we have the first timer discount of 10%. And if any of these questions, or you have maybe additional questions, please don't forget, we do have a very in-depth FAQ section, again, on the entry portal. So at any time you may want to reference that section, and there are a lot of questions there that have been asked throughout the year and would be helpful for you to reference if needed. This is a short checklist, making sure that you're not forgetting anything in the submission process. Of course, make sure to think about your firm's most effective marketing projects when considering your submissions. Be certain that the projects have been completed between January 2023 and January 2025. And frequently we get the question, well, what if I finish it in March, right before the deadline? The purpose of this deadline timeframe is so that you have time to collect results. Want to make sure we remind everyone that this competition is a marketing competition, and we are specifically looking for those 6 questions regarding marketing objectives, the planning, and also the results. And because the results are obviously a significant portion of the entry scale, you want to make sure that you have time to collect those results. Determine which category your project fits in, and please be aware that it may actually fit in more than one category. If you have any questions about which category to enter your entry in, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to assist you. Please, again, remember to read the submittal requirements that are posted on the website. Make sure you complete the online entry form. Forms that are not completed will not be considered in the 2025 program after the deadline date. Be sure to upload your images and URLs. And most importantly, please don't forget to test the URLs that you provide. If you are copying and pasting a URL, unfortunately, sometimes people do it a little too quick and they accidentally leave off a character, or maybe they add a space and the link does not work. So you just want to make sure before you hit that final submit that you have checked those URLs so that you know that they work. And as best as possible, be sure to proofread your responses to the questions carefully. It certainly doesn't hurt to have a second set of eyes look at your responses and make sure that you are answering the questions that are being asked in the judging criteria. And again, last but definitely not least, please make sure you finalize and submit your payment and entry by the final deadline of March 21st. And let's not forget, if you have not already, please make sure to register today for Amplify AEC. Our winners will be announced live on stage on August 7th, this year's conference will be taking place in Columbus, Ohio. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. It's going to be an awesome show this year. Okay, so that concludes the presentation.